We are live from London. Almost December. Hang on, let's get this video started. There you go, that's a bit better.
There you are.
Good to see you. Good to see you as well.
Nice to see you nice.
See you nice. That's definitely pulling in everybody under the age of 78. That's got the youngsters. They're crying to get into the show with our impressions of Bruce Forsyth. I nearly forgot his name. I nearly called him Bruce Springsteen. Can you imagine him? Maybe we want to run. Maybe we want to run, dear. Higher, lower. Where the hell the rest of the E Street Band? Yes, welcome to the show. This is, of course, it's the show. It's the show. It's back on track. Another episode of the programme that's all about cars and made for you radio. Now with some added pictures. Fresh from our Christmas party night. Let's stop that. There you go. Fresh from party night on Saturday night. It was postponed from 2 years ago because something happened. I don't know what happened. Something just happened. But we've now sobered up and we're ready to rock. Coming up this week, got a corker of a program, a corker of a little car, I should say, in our classic car selection as well. It's a brand made in Japan and a 5-year-old one, but it's got like an Italian influence. It can be yours for about £12,000. We're also going to have all your favourites, including your questions answered by us in the mailbag. This week it's bulging. We've got the latest motoring current affairs stories in the news. And I'm being joined by the man that thinks the acronym for Ford does not, and I repeat, does not stand for fix often and repair daily. Here's Simon.
That's a myth. It's not every day. It's maybe every other day, maybe every other week, but not necessarily every day.
I just got my hands burnt with an XR3i, Simon. Let's not talk about it.
Oh dear. Yes, we have a great show for you this week as we head off down to somewhere amazing in our Lost Highways section of the show. This week we're going to Egypt and Burma. Well, Egypt, Israel, Burma. We're doing Living Dangerously this week.
Sounds like a new James Bond film.
Living Dangerously.
Living Dangerously. With
Between
a woman.
the borders of Egypt and Israel. Between the borders of Egypt and Israel.
I think that it is quite dangerous. Yeah.
We also have an amazing quiz for you this week because it's becoming colder, certainly in this part of the hemisphere.
Yes,
we're talking about servicing your car.
Ooh,
that's what the quiz is.
Nice bit of servicing. We all need a bit of that as Christmas goes on.
And we'll be asking the age-old question of what do you call a Ford car made in Mexico? Of course, it's the Ford Siesta.
Oh, I see where you went there. Hang on.
He who claps last claps on his own.
That's true.
So stay tuned for all of that and more. I'm Simon's Future One and Flash, saviour of the universe. He's for every one of us, stands for every one of us. He'll save the mighty hand. And I always get this wrong because this song is what, 1980?
Yeah.
I've never known what those last two lines were. That's what I sing, yeah.
So you get to that bit and then you go, flash.
But apparently it's every man, every woman, every child
with a mighty flash. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought at the end it said, it's Flash. With a mighty flash. Simon Suju on there, classic Queen. My daughter, I played that song at the weekend and she said, no, yes, Dad, that's the music for the cleaner. Flash.
Oh dear.
I'm afraid it's happened. Talking about misheard lyrics, half the ones I've listened. My Smoke on the Water, my version of Smoke on the Water has very, very different lyrics to the original. Because I was a kid listening to it and going, "Oh, this is definitely." Some of them are correct, some of them are very incorrect, very wrong.
Yeah, because you used to put your ear to the speaker to listen to what the words were.
Yeah, there was no internet. There was no internet, and if you didn't have the album with the lyrics on the back, which if you were a kid like me or born 15 years after Deep Purple were really big, and you got the Greatest Hits album, you just sort of guessed that
an approximation.
Yeah, I was always confused at how in 1971 they made records with a mobile phone, which is the lyrics of Smoke on the Water. They were making records with a mobile, and I was like, well, wow. 1971 must have been a big thing. And then I found out it was the story was it was the Rolling Stones or the Who's mobile recording studio that they used.
Ah.
So obviously it's some sort of OB truck, and then they set up their gear in a hall and using making records with a mobile. Yeah, not one of the kids.
Ah.
See,
Yes, and then
it's
some
very
dude with a flare gun
burn the
created the
place
sweat on
to the
the
ground. It
Yeah.
was Funky Claude. He was running in and out and pulling kids out the ground. But there's lots of other lyrics within that I get completely wrong. Yes, I'm Richard Green, joining Simon Suji1, and you've got to hold and give, but you've got to do it at the right time. You can be slow or fast, but you must get to the line. They will always hit you and hurt you, defend and attack, and there's only one way to beat them: get round the back. Yes, of course, that's the World Cup 1990 song by New Order, World in Motion, and I do a good impression of John Barnes as he does laying off the sausage rolls from Greggs these days. He's drinking too much Lucasade isotonic. Either that or eating too much. Was it Start? He used to advertise.
Oh, yeah, of course. Start.
So him and Steve
Rubbish
Cram. Yeah, rubbish, terrible cereal. Back in the 80s when they said to get healthy, you need to eat lots of carbohydrates. This, of course, is the show they like to call Car-Boyz.
It's called Car-Boyz.
We got a new sponsor this week.
Okay.
And it's a new water sponsor, and it's Mandela Water. Mandela Water. It's better than the Delta variant. Wow. I'll just see what it tastes like. Yeah, definitely a chest infection. That's fantastic stuff. So thank you, Mandela Water spreading. Oh, actually, you're supposed to be going on holiday on. Is this still happening?
Yeah. As far as I know, it is. We've done all the paperwork. Everything's fine.
Well done. You'll be fine. Let's just hope they let you back in. We would like to do this show again. You can always go if you go slightly. I know you're going to Belgium, so you can also go slightly down the coast of France. You can get yourself a dinghy there, and you can just get across really easily. Yeah, apparently.
Or not.
Or not. It's time now on the show for Richard's rant. I've said it again. It's time now on the show for Richard's rant. It's because I live in Southwest London, and I think I'm trying to make myself into upper middle class. It's time now on the show for Richard's rant. It's when I take a sideways view of the world from my own weird, and I would argue, warped perspective. But unlike other sections of the podcast, this will be a dictatorship. I shall rule unchallenged as the Grand Poobah. This week, I've been thinking about fuel. Not the winter fuel that Good King Wenceslas saw people gathering in the Christmas carol of the same name, but the stuff we put into our cars, fuel. We Brits call it the petrol. We call it not the petrol, we call it petrol. And surprisingly, for such a verbally literate nation, the Americans don't call it liquid. For some strange reason, they call it gas. So there's something that's happening both sides of the Atlantic. It's not the weird success of the pop princess Billie Eilish, although I do find that a bit weird. No, it's been going on here, and it's been going on the other side of the pond, the continued rise of petrol prices. I took this photo underneath the extension to the M4 just outside of Ealing.
Oh, yeah, I recognise that.
And there used to be, right by this garage, a big advert for Lucasade, not isotonic. The original, not John Barnes. The original Lucasade advert, which they ripped down a few years ago. It was a very cool 1950s sort of fluorescent affair.
It lights up as well. It used to.
It was really
pouring into a glass,
and it would pour into a glass. And I used to go past it and go, God, that's. I think the sign dates back to the 60s. And what do I mean? It's not ultraviolet. What's the stuff they make out of tubes?
Neon.
The old school neon sign. Now they decided to put it down as some advert for something that nobody cares about. Anyway, that's the loss of British culture. And here's the loss of British pounds. Those are the prices of petrol and diesel at the moment. 150 for petrol and 146.9. So according to new research, retailers are failing to pass on cheaper fuel prices in the UK and the US to motorists who are enduring now a fifth week of record high prices. The AA said there should have been a substantial drop in pump prices in recent days following a 5.6 pence a litre fall in wholesale petrol and diesel prices last week, which could have translated onto saving around £3 each time drivers fill up. The RAC accused major fuel retailers of rocket and feathering pricing, claiming they've resisted passing on the saving to drivers, instead holding off in the hope the price of oil would go back up. It comes as the US joined the UK and other nations by releasing oil from strategic reserves into the market to ease pressure on both energy and fuel prices. The AA say drivers should already have seen pump prices declining, but adds forecourt cuts remain elusive so far. and show at best of stalling recent rises. So it's going to stall, it's not going to fall. Drivers are currently experiencing 5 weeks of high petrol prices. Unleaded rose above the highest price previously recorded in April 2012, when it surpassed 142.48 on Sunday, the 24th of October. Diesel eclipsed the previous record set in the same month of 2012. It's now, and as I say, it's above that prices on average of 147.94. Now, the UK, unlike America, fuel prices don't change very much. They change by about 10 to 20 cents per region. Even on the motorways, it doesn't. America, they're really feeling it because now gas in California, I think, is up to nearly $5. And in places like Iowa, it's still 2.5. Now, this means the average cost of petrol and diesel has increased by 34p in the last few months. Now, I bought my old Honda in 2009, so that's 12 years ago. It used to cost me £34 to fill it up to the top. That car now costs £70 to fill up. My new Honda Accord, I refuse to put weasel piss in it. The E10 unleaded. I like to call it weasel piss because it is. I did something I thought I'd never do at a garage the other day. I thought I wouldn't be doing for a few years. I put premium, the super unleaded E5 into the car, and the car was virtually zero. There was nothing left in the car. It was really. I've been driving around for 20 miles in the red. Cost me more than £100. Now, I'm not that old. I'm old, but I'm not Methuselah. I remember people buying second-hand cars for around that price 30 years ago. And I did, in fact, ask the garage attendant when I paid him £100, does that petrol bill come with a free car, mate? So who's to blame? Well, firstly, obviously, greedy oil barons in the Middle East, like OPEC. Also, the garages and the oil producers, they've been hurt by the fact that no one's been driving for the past 18 months. They want to claw their money back. But I would also say that our government should really have a look at capping prices in what we can be charged as consumers, because if it gets too high, the economy is going to stop. You charge £2 a litre, there's going to be no more Amazon deliveries for free, no more free food deliveries, no more imports. The economy will grind to a halt. And they keep banging on about this new normal at a strange economic conferences like Davos, the World Economic Forum. And we maybe should rename it the new economic collapse, because personally, I think maybe this is how the Daleks and Davos take over the Earth. Or am I just getting a bit confused about the spelling of a Doctor Who character?
Could be worse. Could be Bobby Davro, not Davros.
That would be painful to the ears.
The thing was, I can remember it was probably less than 20 years ago when petrol broke through the pound barrier.
Yep, it was.
And people were protesting. People were
yes.
going, how has this happened? And we just kind of put up with it. In that time, we just put up with the price rises.
If you only have so many suppliers, I mean, put this. I can remember in the mid-90s when I first started driving, the petrol stations came online, and the supermarket petrol stations came online, and petrol dropped from about 45p down to 30 a litre. And it was like, this is fantastic. And nobody went anywhere but the supermarkets. And slowly we've lost petrol stations over the UK. So we're down to, we're the same amount of petrol stations in the UK as in 1934.
Really?
I live on the edge of London. And I can tell you now, there's 4 petrol stations in my area, in the borough of Richmond, where I live, at least 4 that have gone since I've been back from Asia. So that's 13 years. At least 4 that have completely disappeared.
So is this a cunning ploy to switch people onto electric? So you go, fewer petrol stations, price of petrol is already creeping up. Get an electric vehicle.
I would say that. Although, but look at what happened at the weekend with the failure to supply most of the northeast of England and certainly Scotland with electricity. And
yes,
because
our climate's
a little storm and about an inch of snow. So I think it's about getting us out of our cars and onto public transport system that doesn't exist. As again we found out on Saturday night when half the tube in London was closed down. So
and took us ages to get around town in
a I think I could have a big conspiracy theory about this, but I think the reality, the true reality of the whole thing is that they don't know what they're doing. the petrol producers, the people that sell you petrol every day, they want to make more money, and they haven't made any money for 18 months because we've hardly been driving. So it's all about bringing back their profits. I think I'd like stop it news. We're not ready for you yet. What I'd like to think is that eventually it will normalize and it will freeze and it will come down, because I did watch a program the other day from 2012. That was 10 years ago, and petrol was nearly 140 back then. So I'm hopeful.
Wow.
I'm hopeful, Simon. I live in hope. Should we have some news?
Yes, a bit premature, but let's have the news now.
News!
And first off, Ian Might isn't always right news. Fury has erupted over the new supersized cycle highway on the busy A road in the UK, which has given cyclists and pedestrians more space than lorries. Pedestrians and cyclists now enjoy a whopping 33 foot of space beside the newly revamped section of the A3049, which is a major route in and out of Bournemouth, Dorset, nice part of the world. But the scheme, which saw the road narrowed by around a foot to accommodate the two new cycle lanes, has left lorries, vans, cars, and emergency vehicles with just 21 foot of space. 21 foot. That is it's a meager 10 foot 6 inches per lane, which is just 2 foot wider than the average lorry. Council chiefs said that the 9 foot 6 inch wide cycle lanes on Wallace Down Road in Poole, which will run adjacent to pavements up to 7 foot wide, have been made deliberately large in order to protect cyclists from road users. So protect cyclists from the people that pay the tax on the roads.
Yeah, of course.
But residents have slammed the schemes, claiming that there are more cars using the road than there were cyclists using the cycle lane. Of course, they also warn that the cars are having to mount the new bright red lanes in order to get out the way of emergency vehicles, putting cyclists at risk. The new road layout means that cyclists and walkers enjoy a combined 33 foot of room, while the carriageway for cars, buses, lorries, and emergency vehicles has now narrowed to 10 foot 6 inches per lane.
Cyclists, walkers, cars.
Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. And look, in that picture, there's no cyclists on the cycle lane.
I mean, they've not waited for that. I mean, maybe they have waited, but they've waited that there's cars. Now, usually when there's cars, people are also on bicycles.
Yes.
There's nobody. I mean, they've done this all over London. We've got huge cycle lanes in London, all created by socialist nut jobs, have used the pandemic to get their argument across. And guess what? Cyclists still use the bloody road. Cyclists do not go in there. They go, I'm not going in there. And they still go on the road. And you're like, dude, I have like the narrowness of a country lane now. And there's a bus coming past me because you've lost the dual carriageway. In fairness to them, which I don't say it very often because they're pricks, that will also get covered in leaves and shit and rubbish
and snow
and crap. And the other problem is, if you were driving at night, would you actually see that?
No,
and
not at all.
I mean, round by you've seen it. It's really crap.
Yeah.
We were stuck in that traffic jam around Trafalgar Square on Saturday night. That's mainly because that feeds down to the South Bank and the north of the river, Thames side, and that's now one lane, and it used to be two. And
I did think our cab driver was going to take out the bus at one point.
Yeah, he was bad, man. I was feeling slightly. I don't, and I was like, look, you're obviously Indian. You understand Mike is right. So this bus is a big guy. You're going to lose the front wing on this car. Wow. Braver man than me.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I mean, they've done it. They've done these lanes. I'm driving through Chiswick. Chiswick is a nightmare. I'm working up in Shepherd's Bush at the moment, and Chiswick is an absolute nightmare. They have narrowed it so much. And you honestly are getting to these junctions going, I mean, I know I've driven on that road on and off for 12 years, and I don't recognize the road. So I'm going, well, should I be in that lane? Oh, no, that's for cyclists. And then it's back to 2 lanes. Well, can I get in that lane? I'm not sure. and then there's sort of these weird bollard things. What it's like during rush hour, I don't know, because I work strange and unusual hours, but certainly out of rush hour, it's a fucking nightmare. So yes, hopefully somebody will see sense and get rid of this crap because it's not helping anybody. Moving on, weird South African invents something that no one asked for news. It's camping, but not as we know it, Jim. That's my best Dr. McCoy. Future Tesla Cybertruck owners were going to have a chance to turn their vehicles into something they didn't think they'd ever want, a micro home on wheels, thanks to an amazing attachment. It's a tent. It's a tent on the back of his Cybertruck. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, really cool. US, but it's not going to come cheap. US company Form Camper has designed a fully detachable $70,000 accessory for Mr. Musk's much-hyped Hypertruck. That's a much-hyped Hypertruck, Cybertruck. That's equipped with a shower and a double bed, a kitchen, and a living area. The camping accessory called Form, should have been called Y, is the brainchild of a group of industrial designers and engineers from California, and it's designed to slot into the truck bed of the Cybertruck, folding away until it's activated. A rendered video of the design shows the attachment opening and extending out of the bed of the truck. Tent-like nylon awnings emerge from either side of the vehicle, creating a porch space. Nice. Inside the bed, which is fitted with hidden storage, it can be turned into a single or a double. And campers sleep on a memory foam mattress lying under a vaulted ceiling. That sounds a lot better than it is. It's an effing tent, and you try and sleep in that in this weather in the north, and you're going to freeze your crackers off. Camper features a Nebbia shower, a compact cassette toilet. Nice. They were thinking of the 8-track.
Did they?
Doesn't hold enough shit. Which has a portable tank. The toilet space is separated from the rest of the camper by a curtain. Nice. We're not in use. The toilet area. Listen, if you're
like
in
my
this,
workplace.
if you're in this, yeah, it is like your workplace. If you're in this, number 2s are done at the bloody, the service station or the local pub. You're not doing a number 2 in this. It's got a solar panels built into the design, offering 4,000 watts of power. The attachment isn't compatible with the Cybertruck. Isn't it? Oh no, it isn't just incompatible with the Cybertruck. It's designed to be the work of the majority of pickup trucks, such as Ford F-150s or the Chevrolet Silverado. Elon Musk seemed to approve. He tweeted, "Oh yeah, it's very cool, yeah, very cool." It isn't, not for $70,000. Can't you buy a bloody we call it a caravan, and Americans call it a trailer?
Possibly.
Can't you get an Airstream for 70? Oh yeah, I know. This is the best.
There's
one.
another picture.
Yeah, wait.
Show us this picture.
Wait. If you remember about 10 years ago, Top Gear decided to make their own camper vans, and Jeremy Clarkson made one, the camper van, out of a
like this one.
Yes. But James May did one with a Lotus Elise.
Yes. That is the inspiration there.
It looks like Elon Musk carrying some bees to a local, I've got I always travel around with my aviary on the back of the Cybertruck. Don't throw stones at it though, no rocks, it'll smash it. What a horrible pile of crap. That's what it looks like folded up.
Yeah. That's this Citroen's definitely the inspiration for that. Look at that.
Yeah. I don't know whether Citroen. I think you're right. That must be great when there's a gale as well, going down the motorway at 70 miles an hour with a strong gale. For fuck's sake. $70,000. Watch this company, like the tent, fold.
Oh dear.
Where are we next? Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Oh yes, this is a very good one. I thought, why is he sending me this? Meanwhile, in Russian model crashes Italian model news, a Russian model. I had to print this picture out.
Yeah, I bet you did.
You could have got a better picture.
Yes. Hello, boys.
Save that. I'd laminate that one later.
I was going to say you're going to do something to it later on. How much bloody lady?
She put 2 million Swarovski diamonds into her £270,000 Lamborghini Aventador. Has now been left with a new car bill after it was wrecked in a crash. There we go. That wasn't anything to do with the gales. It was a crash. Daria Radio Nova? Radio
Yeah,
Nova.
look.
Oh, Radio
Daria,
Nova,
Radio
Russia's
Nova.
favorite radio station.
I'm a co-host on Breakfast. My boyfriend Vladimir meet me later on.
She's 26 and she had a black supercar customized with crystals to show off her bling lifestyle. Yeah. Well, part of her's 36, part of her much younger.
36, 28, 34. Sorry.
She's trying to show off her bling lifestyle with 626,000 Instagram followers. That's nearly as many as we've got. The motor, which has a top speed of 217 miles an hour, even has a personalized number plate. Here's one of those. DAR11A. Well, it did have one, so people know who it belongs to. But the unusual vehicle is now off the road after being involved in a crash in Kensington, London, earlier this week. A picture emerged showing the rear of the car. That's the rear of the car, not the front of the lady. Completely smashed up after
somebody
another
smashed her back doors in. That's the first time that's happened to her.
As she offered a cash reward to anyone with information about a blue Vauxhall car. What is the blue Vauxhall car? It is what is club car? It is Vauxhall. Miss Radio Nova is a serial car customizer and has done the same to one of her vehicles before. In 2020, she drove her £150,000 Lamborghini Huracan covered in 1,000,000 crystals down off Oxford Street. 6 years earlier, she had sold her Mercedes CLS 350, which was also covered in crystals on eBay.
Nice.
So let's take a moment and look at the crystals on that.
Lovely pair of crystals. Let's be honest. They're Swarovski. They're not diamonds. This is not diamond. They're crystals. And Swarovski used to be made in Bohemia. Now they bang them out in a factory by slaves in China. So it isn't diamonds. And she didn't do this. Well, she may have done the crash, but she didn't put the diamonds on it. A bit like she paid someone else to. I think she paid someone else to do it. A bit like the fact she had someone else to make her look like a blow-up doll.
She's got a vajazzled Lamborghini.
She has a vajazzled Lamborghini and probably a vajazzled vajazzle. And yeah, I can't feel a great deal of sympathy.
I can feel something, but it's not sympathy.
You're going to go and get that laminated, aren't you, at work?
Yes.
Simon, have you been losing the lamination machine? Yes, I have, because it wipes down easier. And finally, yeah, that's probably going to get us a ban of some kind, but I don't care.
Strike on YouTube.
I will have you stricken off the YouTube for 2 reasons. And finally, in Prancing Horse model harks back to glory days of the 1960s news. Ferrari's latest £1.7 million supercar has already sold out before it was displayed to the world last weekend. Called the Daytona SP3, it relaunched the iconic nameplate from the stunning road cars of the late 60s and early 70s and pays tribute to the racing machines that dominated 24 hours of Daytona endurance race in 67 during Enzo Ferrari's heated battle against the Might Ford and the GT40. In a fitting tribute, it will have eco-zealots reeling. The Daytona SP3 is powered by a naturally aspirated, well done, guys, not a turbo,
yes,
6.5-litre V12, producing more power than any Ferrari engine ever unleashed on the road. Top speed in excess of 211 miles per hour. I did say 211 miles an hour. Brake horsepower, 829 brake horsepower, which I think puts it on par with a couple of Spitfires from World War II.
I'm feeling the same thing I was feeling when I saw this picture.
Are you? Yes, I can imagine
829 bhp.
Do you want to? Yeah, that's pounds per square inch. You're thinking, okay, it's PSI. Do you want to be? Are you going to have to go and get this laminated as well?
Yes.
So it's 0 to 60 is in 2.88 seconds, which puts it in the territory of the Tesla. Only 600 examples are being produced by the legendary Italian Mark, each with a €2 million price tag inclusive of taxes, yet all of them already sold to the brand's most loyal and deserving clients. I'm sure they're not deserving clients. I'm sure they're totalitarian dictators from the third world, but there you go. The first long road-going Ferrari to feature a mid-mounted 12-cylinder engine since La Ferrari Hybrid's hypercar. It will use the same 6.5-litre V12 from the 812 2 Competizione, although modified with a lightweight titanium conrods. It even features butterfly doors, which incorporate an airbox to channel air into the side of the mounted radiators. You can see the air vents just about there.
Like a racing car.
Yes, and it's got a removable Targa roof, just like the 60s racing machines. So yes, it does look very cool. It's truly a big FU to all those who want cars to be electric. This is the essence of the internal combustion engine. I would say probably the pinnacle.
I think Ferrari have gone on Ferrari have gone on record to say that they are not going to produce any electric vehicles. They might go hybrid, but they're not going solely electric.
Yeah, so we have it's a hybrid car. The lighter and the radio, they both work off a hybrid little electric engine, but the rest of it is a big 875 brake horsepower. I mean, look at it; it's fantastic.
Beautiful.
I would worry about that. I could never own a car like that because A, it's a couple of nice houses in my part of the world, and B, I'd feel a bit of a tit. Unless I lived in Knightsbridge and or a dish dash. Yeah, and was dating, what's her name? Miss Radio Nova.
Radio Nova.
She's from Radio Nova. Yeah, that's about it. Hang on. Is that the end of the news?
That is the end of the news.
That's the end of the news. I thought we had another.
There was an extra bit that was just put on there, but I think the story was just.
Yeah. What happened there? I think I might have got.
Fine. It's good. It's good. Okay, let's move on.
They didn't notice that. Let's have some music. Strike at the band. Oh, come on. Dulcet jazz tones calls me. It's time. Let's try and get this music to stop. It's time for the classic car selection. Band are in good form this week. That's what I like to see. House band here.
They came to us for the Christmas party.
They did. That's why. They couldn't afford to come inside. They just huddled outside in the corner and drank some methadone. I guess that's what you do, drink methadone. I'm not sure. It's been a while. Time now to take a look at the classic car selection. We look at a classic car that's been overlooked, a diamond in the rough that should be recognised for the true classic it was. From a long-forgotten 1970s saloon that everybody loved, but got lost in the mist of time, to a strange vehicle that was never a success, but today could be your perfect ride. It is the classic car selection. The past few weeks, we've been focusing on coupes, convertibles, soft tops, rag tops, and tin tops. The reason, two-seater sports cars. And why? And why are we not stopping now? Why? Because it's the best time to buy a convertible. Not the summer when the prices surge, but the depths of winter. Now, I've been inspired by a letter from a listener this week, who I will address later in the show. This guy wants to know how good the new Fiat Spider 124 is, how reliable it is. I can tell you it's a fantastic little car, and it could be the perfect choice for the classic car selection. Now, the reason I say this is because now they're coming up to 5 years old. It's been around since 2016, but it's really been a sleeper of a sports car. The 124 Spider by Fiat, based on the MX-5, but with retro styling inspired by the original 124 Sports Spider of 66 or 1966, sold in the UK between 2016 and 2019. They've rebadged it and relaunched it again since 2019, but we're talking about the original version. It's a left field alternative to the more familiar Mazda, or as the Americans say, Miata. What do they call it in? It's got another name. In
Unos Roadster.
Unos Roadster. Yeah, for all our listeners in Japan. Arigato. There's a sporty Abarth version with more power and more noise, but this one is quite affordable with used prices from around £11,000 to £12,000, and it should retain its value over the longer term, thanks in part to the small number sold. As cars become even larger, heavier, and more laden with technology, the Fiat Spider 124 feels like pressing reset. A front engine rear wheel drive. It's the old school sports formula, and it feels more relevant than ever. What was the old adage by the guy that founded Lotus? It's take away the weight.
That's the one. Not all about power.
Forget the hot hatches with 300 brake horsepower. When it comes to real-world driving, simple pleasures are the best. Now, before you even turn a wheel, though, you'll be seduced by how the Fiat looks. While the MX-5 is sleek and angular and unmistakably Japanese, the 124 Spider channels traditional Italian styling. Its 2016 debut came exactly 50 years after the original 1966 version, and the family resemblance is clear to see. Even Fiat produced a sought-after anniversary version to mark the occasion. Understated and pretty, this car doesn't try too hard to be retro. Now, there's the Abarth version, which of course is rather less subtle, the distinctive black matte bonnet, originally a feature of the Abarth rally cars. You also get the red door mirrors, chunkier alloys, and the Abarth Scorpione badges, or as we say, Scorpion. Like Mr. Scorpio from The Simpsons.
The Scorpio.
Or wasn't he Mr. Scorpion? Maybe he was Mr. Scorpion.
Homer calls him Mr. Scorpio.
Hank Scorpio. If you want to be noticed, it's the default choice. Now, both cars use the different engine to the MX-5, a 1.4 multi-air turbo petrol. The Fiat Mustang's 140 bhp. The Abarth whaps it up to 170 and bolts on a Rorty exhaust. Either way, there's not much difference. You can have it's a malleable chassis. It means there's ample power for B-road fun. But, you know, the standard car is 0 to 60 in 7.5. The Abarth is 6.8 seconds. So not really much choice. Flipping back the hood is a one-handed job that takes seconds. The extra weight and the complexity of an electric hood would frankly be unnecessary here. The GT version of the Abarth came with a detachable hardtop in addition to the fabric hood, but you're still going to find somewhere to store it. As for reliability, the 124 Spider Japanese routes should stand it in good stead. You'll also discover that the average mileage tends to be low, as many of these bought as second or weekend cars. So how much should I pay and what should I look for? Well, it's effectively a more punchy MX-5 and therefore super reliable. The car is made in Japan, assembled in Italy, with a Mazda gearbox and a souped-up Fiat engine, but the Fiat engine does derive from the Mazda engine. So we're talking quality, quality, quality. Remember, though, it's a sports car. You want to see a full service history when you're buying one. Make sure it's been driven well. Look for curbed alloys. Look for warped disc brakes. You're after one lady owner is the box to be ticked. Now, in terms of pricing, they start around £12,000 for this one, a 2016 one-owner car. Full service history, 50,000 on the clock, in immaculate condition. All that come with a 1.4 revving little blower engine, and you almost can't go wrong because they're all nearly new cars. If you splurge up to 20 grand, you're going to get a 2019 124 Spider Abarth. So why not say si and arigato to an Italian car with Italian styling and Japanese reliability? And that'll be the Fiat 124 Spider.
It's funny that, because I saw one today in the flesh at a roundabout in North London, and it was really nice.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Abarth version is the one does look the best because it's got the matte black bonnet, red little wing mirrors.
Bit of Dulux will be fine on that.
That's what I think. You know, just some Blackpool paint from Homebase. Just put that on. I mean, to be honest, I think I prefer that over the MX-5 just for the fact it's a little bit more unique, and I like the idea of the 1.4 Italian engine, and it's you could dip your toe into the murky waters of Italian reliability, but you could still also have that. So I know underneath this is really a Japanese car.
I'm slightly concerned because the picture you've got and the picture I've got, they're both registered in Birmingham. So who in Birmingham will be driving around these?
Bloody lovely that is. It's a great little Fiat. Although, it's that being said, the Midlands is the area where you'll find some of the best cars in the world because we used to make cars. So that tradition, you always find better drivers in Coventry, places like Coventry and Birmingham than you do down south. Yeah. The cars are maintained more because people actually use them for commuting. And I think there's a greater appreciation of the car because effectively that part of the world was the UK's Detroit, so to speak. Yeah. Yes. It's time for Lost Highways. And again,
it is.
Music I've been chatting away and I should have been queuing up the music. This is going to change when I actually pull my finger out and get a new and order a new. Here we go. Here we go. It's time for Lost Highways. Not the music I was expecting. Oh no, the music I was expecting I think is coming up as this music plays out. It's slightly more jollier. I need to get this all loaded onto some sort of system. We've got to sort ourselves out.
Well, I'll edit him up. So,
Now, if that doesn't say inbreeding, I don't know what does. Isn't it terrible?
but it's good.
It is. I quite like it. I want to see this band in concert. I'm not sure I want to hang out with the people that would enjoy that music all the time, but I definitely want to see this band in concert. What is it time for? It's time for Lost Highways. Over to you, Simon.
Indeed, so the music signifies it is Lost Highways, and those of you that watched the show before, it is our feature where viewers email us in and give us their favourite roads and the reasons why they love them. It can be quite coastal, two-lane, blacktop that leads down to sea. Alternatively, it could lead all the way to infinity and invites you to go to pedal to the metal. One of the points, let us know on here on Car-Boyz. What are the details that people can get in touch with us?
Hang on a second.
Okay, we'll do that later.
No, here it is. You can email the Car-Boyz at car-boys@outlook.com. You can Facebook the car at car-boys, boys always with a Z, at Car-Boyz with 4 Zs. Twitter, car-boys, boys with a Z, at car_boys. Instagram, the porno one, at car_boys, 3 Zs.
There you go. Radio Nova's second most famous DJ there.
Oh, that's right. The morning show. Stay tuned. 10cc on the way.
Slipping into our DMs this week. I think that's what the kids say.
They do
slipping
say.
into your DMs. It's Bolton Wanderer who says, "Dear Car-Boyz, if you're up for a challenge, you should try Route 10 that straddles the border between Israel and Egypt." I've got a picture of it here.
Which one's that one?
It is the... It's
the desert.
Desert one, yeah.
That desert. There you go.
Very well. Route 10 is closed to civilian traffic for most of the year, but officials open up the roads on holidays, and this road has just opened up for the Hanukkah season, which I think opened up last week, I think Friday.
Yes.
The route itself runs along the entire border for 113 miles, right the way down from the Gaza Strip, which could be a bit terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach stunning sites such as the Kadesh Barnea observation point, 670 meters above sea level, where you can then gaze into northern Sinai and the Harusha lookout that offers a wonderful view both north towards the Kadesh Barnea and northeast towards Ramat Barnea and Mount Haram. The view to the west is even more enticing as you look over the border into Sinai. He says, beware though, in many areas along the route, there is no cellular reception. So, yeah, I'd be a bit worried.
I'd be a bit worried generally. I've been here about 10 years ago. I went to Taba Heights, which is on the Sinai Peninsula. So you got the Red Sea between you? I'm trying to think of there's sea on one side, sea on the other side. Sinai Peninsula comes down and it separates Egypt from Israel, and then on the other side is Saudi Arabia. But where we were, we'd get lots of people who come from Israel for the gambling, because the gambling was legal in Egypt, but there was no casinos, as far as I'm aware, in Israel at the time. It's not. I wouldn't say this is the safe. It was great. We got out into the desert, and the desert is insane. We went out and did some camel riding in the desert, but it was really, really hot. And there were a lot of people walking around with guns on the resort I stayed at. That not the locals, just the security guards, because you've got Saudi Arabia across the way. So good luck if you want to drive there. Maybe it's safe.
Give it a go.
Give it a go. Why not? Go for it.
Tell them we sent you.
Yes. Oh, you were Car-Boyz. Fun. Come through. It's an interesting part of the world, I'll say that. Finally this week, Jumping Jack Flash. He doesn't say gas, gas, gas. He says petrol, petrol, petrol on this show. He says, hello, Car-Boyz. You two seem very cultured. You've obviously not seen the show. I'm throwing in the old Burma Road, literally a lost highway. See, I've been to Burma as well.
Nice.
Many years ago. This is the Burma Road. It starts in Kunming in the west of China. Kunming with a population of 7 million, the capital of Yunnan province, which is a twin city of Zurich, almost 2,000 meters above sea level. And because of the pleasant climate throughout the year, it's often called the city of eternal spring of China. Originally 18,000 kilometers long, the Burma Road started in India through Burma and then on to China being used as a route to trade supplies in the time of British colonialism or colonization. With its invasion of Burma or Myanmar, let's say it's Burma, in 1942, the Japanese cut off Lashio and the Salween River from China, marking the demise of the Burma Road. Not much of the original road survives, which was built through the high mountains. Not much survives today, but some parts of the route are still visible and can still be traveled. I only got to Rangoon or Yangon. I didn't get out of the city, but my wife's been out of the city. She actually has also been to Kunming in China, where she stayed at the London Hotel, which was full of pictures of London and Union Jack flags and bears dressed up as beefeaters. And guess what? Nobody in the hotel spoke English. Not a single person. And she says, I'm wandering around the hotel and it's all like British this, the London Hotel, Houses of Parliament, Trafalgar Square. Nobody spoke English. Well done, China. Yeah, Burma. I love Burma. I think it's a fascinating place. I think it's the road he's talking about that goes into the Golden Triangle, and that is where the old KMT or the Kuomintang or the Kuomintang, the part of the Chinese nationalists ended up there, and they ended up running the drugs out of the heroin out of the Golden Triangle for about 20 years. So that's a real sketchy area. The Burma, China, the north of Burma, but Burma itself pretty safe.
We just had a couple of sketchy roads for the lost highways.
And the roads are sketchy. I mean, maybe it's better. I haven't been in Rangoon for over 10 years, but the last time I was there were potholes everywhere.
Ooh.
Potholes. It felt like sort of Mad Max. So get in touch with the show if you fancy doing that, or going up to the Sinai Peninsula. That one I was slightly more concerned about. Oh, and it's time for me to get out the fart sound effect now.
Yes.
It's time for turd.
One of my favorite parts of the show.
Yes. Let's see if this is working. Oh, there you go. Nice. Oh, silent but deadly. Lovely.
It is, of course, time on the show where we examine the terrible crimes committed against cars across the world. From driving a 1988 Fiat Punto on run-flat tyres for the rest of its life to even putting sawdust into the gearbox, we basically find a car on sale across the world. A terrible car that has dared to mount the pile of feces to be crowned the glorious king of the hill. That is, on this show, it is, of course, time for Car-Boyz Top of the Week, aka Turd of the Week. And this week we have had an email from Sarah in Redditch. Hello, Sarah. This car came up on a popular auction website. Her interest was piqued because she'd never heard of this car, and it does look a right rotter. Okay. It's a Chevrolet Kalos. I have a picture of it here.
Yes.
1.2. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And the reason no one has heard of it is because it was a commercial failure back in the early noughties, and they only made these for a year or so. So, Rich, why should you buy this?
Well, Simon, in a word, no, because it's a complete pup. It drives very well. I'll give you the description, and the description is pretty honest. That the advertiser decided to advertise this beast. He or she says, it says, Chevrolet Kalos 2006 drives very well. MOT expires on the 4th of August. With advisory of shafts, that is why the engine light turns on. Recently clutch change, selling in a price because bought a new car. Can msmage me to see the car. Blue, 5+ owners, £500. Now, what worries me with this car, apart from the 5+ owners, which we obviously know mean 5,000 owners, and the stupidly small Daewoo engine of 1.2. The advisories on this car aren't MOT failures, but they're signs that the car is about to stop working. They start off with drive shaft joint worn both sides, tire offside on legal limit, oil leak to offside rear brake. Oil leak to offside rear, brake lining, brake slightly binding. All this means that this car is a bloody rotter, and I wouldn't touch it with yours, Simon. So weirdly, congratulations to Sarah, who's definitely knows a pup when she sees one. The Chevy Kalos, which I'd never heard of before, is our pup of the week.
I think, is it, as you said, isn't it not a Daewoo
It's a
underneath?
Daewoo. Yes, it was a Daewoo originally, and then they just put a Chevy bow tie on it. And they polished the old turd, and guess what? It's still a turd. Keep those coming in. It's time now on the show to delve into the bulging sack that's known locally as the mailbag. Letterbollocks.
Rich did serenade us off air with other versions of that song, but we can't play them because of copyright strikes. Stuart in Sunbury says, "All right,
yes.
Car-Boyz. I do hope you're good."
All right.
He's just sold his BMW 3 Series. Good man. And he says, "Thank God it was a money pit." Yeah, pretty much so.
Yes.
He only uses his car on the weekends as he works from home. He says he wants a rear drive, a 2-seater sports car with a responsive engine. Does he go for an MX-5 or the Fiat 124 Spider? Is around 15 grand to spend. So, over to you, Rich.
Yeah, just rewind this about 20 minutes ago and we'll tell you why you should buy this car. The MX-5 is a good car. It's a reliable car. It is also, my friend, a ladies' car. It is what Radio Nova would be driving. I like an MX-5. Sorry for you social justice warriors out there, but the car is driven mostly by women and trans women who identify as a bird, which is, I believe, that's a proper noun usage.
I think so. Yeah.
I identify as a bird. I keep trying that to get myself into what's the women's prison? It's not Pentonville. What's the other one?
Oh, Holloway. That's closed.
Has it closed? Is it gone now? That'd be completely useless then. I'd be there on my own. Damn. Now the one what I like about the MX-5 is okay. The MX-5 is fine. It's an all right car, but they've got a 1.4 turbo in the Spider, much more responsive than the MX-5 1.6 or 2-liter lump. Cooler looking car, much more desirable. Spend 20 grand. Chuck another 5 at it and you're going to get the Abarth, which is a very cool badge. And that is definitely a perfect weekend car and very reliable. So, Stuart, I hope that helps. That's the car I'd go for. Because if you go for the MX-5, then Radio Nova might think you're a hairdresser. What does she look like? Dear, oh dear. She's 26. Where are we? Eric in Ostend says hello or bonjour, le voiture garçon. You see what he did? He's looking for a cheap runaround. We could do the whole thing in French. Please, let's not. He's looking for a cheap runaround to keep him going for the next year. So he's off to Canada in autumn 2022. He needs a reliable car to get him to and from work, about a 20-mile commute. It needs to be cheap. Doesn't care what it is. He has 2,000 euros in his pocket. What do you think? So he's looking for a cheap car. It's got to last a year, and his budget, I don't think is strong enough to get Japanese or even Korean, because I think you're going to start looking at a really old, that Chevrolet Kalos. Isn't that the Greek god of shit cars? Yes, it's Kalos.
Spend the extra 1,500 quid trying to get it working.
Yeah. That's probably going to last a week. No, so we're in Europe, and we're in the part of Europe that likes a Dacia. So we found this one. We've done a lot of Dacias on this part of the show. The Dacia Sandero in Ghent, 2,000 euros, 80,000 on the clock, 1.4 litre petrol, 2 owners, power steering, power windows, ABS. That's about it. Cassette radio player, I think. A cheap car for a cheap price, and it won't last forever, but it will get you from A to B. And if you come back and, oh no, merde, une dent on my bumper, you'll just go, well, never mind. It's a Dacia. That's what it's for.
Just a Clio underneath.
Also, you're going to Belgium at the weekend, Simon.
Yes.
Check out how bad Belgian drivers are. They are the worst drivers in the
I'll do a video.
World. Just go and have a look at how bad they are. And the reason I say this is the first time I went to Belgium was the mid-90s. And I was told that they only introduced a driving license in Belgium in 1977. So that meant everybody over the age of 40 didn't have a driving license and had never taken a test.
Nice. I should do some videos. I should stick them up on.
Honestly, and watch the parking as well. Get some nice shots of cars, because their version of parking is like, and just sod off. So a car's like the back end sticking out, the front wheels on the pavement. C'est très bien. Ugh, and off they go. So there you go, Eric. I hope that's yes, that's available in Ghent to go and buy for 2,000 guilders or euros.
Guilders. Daisy from Bristol says, hello, Car-Boyz, loving the show.
Hello, Daisy.
She says she's about to buy a new flat in the centre of Bristol. Nice. And is a bit confused about her new ULEZ rules. She drives a 2004 1.8 petrol Audi TT. Nice car. She has parked it at her flat, but thinks it's going to be inside a new clean air zone. Does she need to buy a new car?
No.
Hold tight, because I'm...
What?
No,
she doesn't. Not at the moment. She used to.
That's going to be bad news.
No, well, it's good news and bad news. At the moment, Bristol have postponed their ban on polluting cars or cars with higher NOx levels until next July. So she's got till July 2022. Check the council map or the district map to see whether you're going to be in that ULEZ zone. But what I'd do, I mean, this is quite an old car. It's an 18-year-old car. So why not just drive this until the spring and then go and see if you can get a slightly newer version of the same model. I did have a quick look online, and you can pick up hardtop and ragtop 15-year-old Audi TTs 1.8 for virtually nothing, for like $3 and a bit grand.
Yeah.
So why not keep that for a bit and then sell it off, or just find someone or obviously you've got to find one if you want to drive in and out of that area that has the legal engine. What Bristol were going to do, and the buggers have changed their mind, they were going to ban diesels. And then they suddenly worked out that half the taxis in the centre of Bristol were diesel. So they go, oh, we're not going to do that now. So a friend of mine went and bought a petrol Range Rover when they wanted to buy the diesel, but they didn't buy the diesel because they were like, well, I'm not going to be able to. Now they're not sure whether they're going to be allowed to even drive that petrol one in, because they're going to introduce the same ULEZ scheme as they have in the set. So they're real gits moving the flipping goalposts. What I would do, the other thing you could do is just pop some Polish plates onto the car, drive round, and you'll be fine. No MOT, no insurance, no ULEZ. You can just drive wherever you like.
Yeah.
Just one up and down the road. There's a car with German plates outside my kid's school, and outside the kid's school, you're not allowed. It's parking for residents only. Yeah. That's got no permit. Never has a sticker on it because there's nothing they can do.
Absolutely. Not that we're encouraging that at all whatsoever.
No. Don't break the law, please.
Tune into Radio Nova.
On air from Drive Time. From 4 till 7. With my co-host, Vladimir. Hey, play the Scorpions again. It's great music. Sorry.
Wind of Change. I think this is this your one? Yeah, this is your one.
Oh, sorry, it's me. Sorry. Yes. Alan. Hello.
Alan.
Steve. In Devizes says his neighbour's selling a 2006 Toyota Celica, like this one, not this one, but like this one. He wants to know if he should buy it. 1.8 VVT engine, 80,000 miles on the clock, 3 owners, full service history. He says he's had a good look at it. There's no rust, there's no filler. His next door neighbour keeps it in the garage. He says he needs to get rid of it because he's buying a new car and he only wants £2,000. What do you think? Well,
nice.
I would say that is the bloody bargain of the day. That car, that's got the VVT engine, the VTEC engine. That's a 1.8. It's 15 years old. You're going to get another 10 years at least and another 80,000 miles. I'm pretty sure it's rear wheel drive. It's front engine. The space in the back, you can get 4 people in it, but that is a stunning looking weekend sports car. And I mean, if it's anything like the paintwork on that, that's fantastic.
Looks good. Yeah.
He said he's got a radio cassette though. Yeah, well, you just go and get that, pull that out, put something decent in. I mean, the good thing now, I don't know if you've noticed this, is you're finding that the spaces that were taken up by old things on classic cars by radio cassettes and 8-tracks and whatever, they're making bespoke digital displays that fit straight into the same hole, and then you can just stream your mobile phone or your Spotify or whatever you want into that, and then run them. So you don't really have to do there's no modification to the car. You're not going to have to, like we did in the old days, cut the cut holes in the back of the Or was it cut holes in the cover
In the
cover over?
console.
That's
Yeah.
it. Either in the console, sometimes in the
Or
doors.
the parcel shelf for the speakers.
Mostly, yeah, it was the parcel shelf. I remember doing that with a jigsaw circle. Oh, I've done it too big, and then you're off down the breaker's yard to go and find another one because you're an idiot. But I would make sure it's been serviced, have a good look at it, and then just enjoy it. If it's going to be, I assume it's looking at it as a weekend car, but
it doesn't look dated at all, does it?
No,
it still looks modern.
Fantastic looking car, and I think becoming more and more scarce on our roads. Nice little sports car. I've been around Devizes. You've got some lovely little lanes around there, so enjoy that. Thank you for that. It's the I believe it's the competition time now. Let's have some game show music if I can find it. It's in here somewhere. Game show music. Dolly dealers. Can we stop doing this? This will get her Instagram, whatever.
I'm going to follow her later on Instagram.
Are you going to follow her? Yeah.
Later
I've heard about you. There's a court order out against you, Simon.
It is, of course, quiz time here on Car-Boyz. And we aim to bring you the values of public service broadcasting here on this show to inform, educate, and hopefully entertain you.
We don't get money off the BBC. What do we care about that? It's an audience.
Yeah, thank you. So for this week's big quiz, as the weather's getting cold here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're looking at servicing your car.
Oh, love it. I love that servicing.
Our contestant this week is Richard from frosty Southwest London.
Radio Nova calling.
Radio Nova.
Let's have some
this week,
Mandela water.
Now, Rich, is your vehicle ready for the winter? Is your car ready for the winter?
Yes, it has one of those scrapers in it and some I've got some very posh de-icer. Auto blend de-icer.
Oh,
I know. I didn't buy it. I got a friend of mine liberated it from somewhere, but we'll discuss that later on.
Fantastic. So this week, no pictures in this one because it's mostly just quiz questions on thing. This week, you are playing for an adjustable torque wrench.
Ooh.
Adjustable torque.
That's a huge spanner. Look at that. Look at the size of your tool, Simon.
I know.
He said that. What do you use that for? Is that for adjusting the bolts on your neck?
It's used to make your nuts tighten.
Oh, okay. But what do you use it for? Is it for taking the wheel off your Mini?
I can use it. I've got a mini one as well. You can do it for the wheels. You can do it for
But why?
It's a prize.
That would take up the entire boot of your car.
It would.
There'd be no room left. What have you got in here? I haven't got a spare wheel. Mind you, I've got one of these.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't even take the wheel off because there's no point taking the wheel off because it's not a spare wheel. Anyway, so there you go. It's an adjustable torque wrench to make nuts tighten. So eyes down looking. Question number 1: how often should you service your car? How often should you service your car? The options are A, every 6 months, or B, every 12 months.
Well, I'm going to be very geeky.
Typically, I would say typically.
Typically, because my neighbour had a Jeep Renegade. And it needed it the engine on that needed it every 6 months. Can you imagine having to do an oil change every 6 months? No, it's every year. It's every year.
It is every year. Absolutely right. Yes. I was going to say typically because most cars it's every year, but some of them do need a bit more attention. So well done. One out of one. Question number 2: which of these is not tested during a full manufacturer service? Is it A, wheel alignment test, B, engine coolant test, or C, seatbelt function test?
Seatbelt function, definitely. I would say wheel alignment. So what was the middle one? Was the
engine coolant?
I'm going to go for engine coolant test.
It wasn't. It was seatbelt function test. Seatbelts are done in the MOT, not in the service.
What a mistake of the maker.
Trick question.
Very clever.
So only one right, but the torque wrench is hopefully on its way to you.
Hopefully.
What's the maximum enforceable fine for having tyres that are under the legal tread limit here in the UK? Is it A, £1,000 or B, £2,500?
My brother
£1,000
got caught about 30 years ago with 3 ball tyres and a non-functioning handbrake on a Fiat Panda, which I would have thought was standard practice for driving a Fiat Panda. And he faced a £250 fine and 3 points. I think it's 2,800 now. I'm going to go for the higher number.
It is. You're absolutely right. Well done.
Yeah.
It is. It's not £1,000. It's £2,500 is the what you can get fined for having illegal tyres.
Ridiculous.
So well done. Two out of three ain't bad. What is the main thing that gets changed with every vehicle service? Is it A, the engine oil, or B, the air in your tyres? A, the engine oil, or B, the air in your tyres?
Some of that air in my tyres has been in there since I've owned the car. No, it's the engine oil, of course.
It is the engine oil. Yep, well done.
And if you're clever, you ask the garage for it, and you mix it with creosote, and you paint your fence with it. Have you ever heard that?
You're good. No, but I can imagine because it's thick and brown.
It stinks. My grandfather did it to a shed and he did it in about 1958, and the shed is still standing. And still stinks of creosote and old engine oil.
3 out of 4. Question number 5. After a full service, what should be given? You should be given a printed copy of what that states the performance of it. I'll say that again properly in proper English.
Yes, pretty
After full service, you should be given a printed copy which states the performance of what? Is it A, the brakes, or B, the battery?
I don't know. I've never seen this. Battery. It's brakes.
It's the right answer. Yeah, it's battery. Yeah, you should be given after a service, and they've tested it, a printout of how good your battery is.
It might be in there somewhere. I don't look at it. They send it as an attachment now.
I did. I think it was after. Yeah, no, after I had a service, they put it on a printout, but they put it sort of hanging on the lip of the CD player in my car.
That's nice.
It's like, that's what it is. It's battery. Yeah, well done. Question number 6. I should have had the picture for this, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. It was for 40 brakes. Which of the following would not be topped up during a full service? Is it A, the washer fluid, B, the fuel tank, or C, the engine oil? Which will not be topped up?
It is. My garage definitely does not do, but it is a backstreet garage. It does not top up the washer fluid. But no, they don't. It's very cheap. I get it done very cheap. But I'm like, I can go do this to a cap, and just pour some in. It's the petrol.
Exactly.
Expensive thing on the car these days, as we're finding.
Absolutely, it's like liquid gold. Well done. Question number 8. What is the minimum legal depth for brake pads in the UK? So you kind of already know what it is for tyres, but
1.6 millimeters on the tyre.
That is correct. Yes.
3/4 of the car, or 2/3. I can't remember.
Yeah, but that's not the question. So it's the minimum.
I always
legal
check
depth
that the white isn't coming through. If you can't see the fabric, you're fine, son. They're called slicks.
Is it A, 2.2 millimeters, B, 2.6 millimeters, or C, 3 millimeters? 2.2, 2.6 millimeters.
I'm going to say 2.2. Screw it.
No, it's actually 3 millimeters.
Is it really?
It is, yeah. That's the minimum legal depth of a brake pad here in the UK.
I always have a fondness for brake pads because that was the last big job I did to my Ford Escort. And my grandfather bought these brake pads from a bloke in a pub and said, "You've got a Ford Escort, haven't you?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "I've got some brake pads for you, son." I was like, "Where'd you get those?" "From a bloke in a pub." And then me and my dad fitted these brake pads. "I heard you're after some brake pads. Hang on." And out of his pockets, 2 brake pads. I was like, "Thanks, Grandad."
Oh dear.
I know.
Because it's front brake pads, because of course you had rear drums on your Escort.
Gosh, yeah, you reminded me. I did. I still think
I'd be worried if you came in with some shoes.
I still think that having disc brakes all round is a real luxury on the car.
Yeah.
I still look at a car and go, "That's fantastic."
And also colour your calipers.
That's right. That's true.
Question number 9. Which of the following will help you save fuel? Is it A, optimum tyre pressures, B, new mirrors, or C, new engine coolant? Which will save you more fuel? A, optimum tyre pressures, B, new mirrors, C, new engine coolant.
Well, if you have those giant mirrors that you fit when you tow a caravan, removing those, will obviously, we have those Japanese ones from the 1980s that sound the front wings like this, like a pet, like a dog doing this.
Who
No, it
can
was.
see those?
I know. I don't know how to adjust it. You got some Japanese guy sitting in the front. I want to adjust my mirror, and he's got like a pull cue. He's doing this. Adjust mirror. Yeah, mirror.
Problem is, if you push that too far, you can never pull it back.
Well, then on the other
You have
end,
a hook.
you have a hook. Pull it towards me. I invented remote control television without remote control in the early 1990s when I found a pull cue in a skip, and I used to lie in bed in my student hovel and change the channels on my television like this. Oh, I love that. Yeah. It was this.
Nice.
I've just did it today for my wife's car, her tires were woefully flat. Unlike this lady's tires that aren't woefully flat.
Fully pumped up.
Although her rear end's been caved in, as we found out earlier on in this show. And we're talking about the car, obviously. That's the only part of her rear end that's been caved in. That we know.
Yes.
It's tire pressure.
It is, of course. The tire pressure is well done.
Oh.
And for the adjustable wrench, because it is yours, it's safe. It's safe.
Yes, I do need a new tool. That's what my wife keeps telling me anyway.
Okay, one of these. Question 10. When
Yes.
replacing the following, which of these will not require the car to go up on jacks? Is it A, changing the oil, B,
Yes.
the oil filter, the air filter, or C, shock absorbers? Which of them will not require a car to be on jacks? Is it changing the oil filter, the air filter, or the shock absorbers?
Well, we didn't use jacks when I don't know. I remember doing my mate's Mini, and we used bricks. That was really, really, really bad. That was for an oil change. No, of course, the air filter is on the top, so it's the air filter you don't need to get to. Everything else, I thoroughly advise you, if you are going to change the oil, get a decent set of jacks, or even better, go and find a friend that owns a pit so you can get underneath. Because changing oil on an old Mini on bricks, I mean, there's hardly any room under there. Is very unsafe to do, especially when you're doing the old the sump plug and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and watch it piss out hot oil all over
Okay,
you.
you can use one of these, which is now winging its way over to you right
Fantastic.
now. To check the sump plug.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really I'm over the moon. I don't know. I don't actually think I can't think of a job I'm actually going to use that to for really. I can't remember the last time I did a job, because I do quite a lot of work around the house, but I can't remember the last time I would require a tool of that magnitude to work on my car. I'll be honest with you, but that's great. It'll go with the other 8 socket sets that just sit in the garage and gather dust. But there's some torque on there. I'd be slightly worried. I was gonna wrench my nuts off with one of those. Oh, has it got an adjuster? Has it got a little adjustable? Oh, for God, it's an adjustable. I always thought you were adjustable spanner now, Simon, and you've confirmed it. Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much. That's about it from us. We're away next week. Well, I'm not. I'm staying. I think I've got to work. Hopefully. You're off to the sunny golden sands of Belgium to enjoy the local wildlife. So enjoy that. We want lots of pictures of cars. And we'll have a little discussion about that later on. And thanks for tuning in. That's it from Car-Boyz. We'll be back soon. Have yourself a fantastic week, and try not to pay too much for petrol.